Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. I'm excited to be here with you today. Good to see some folks on there. Hey, Fernando. Hey, Judy. Hey, Cord, and other folks out there getting ready to jump on here this morning. Today's episode, I want to share some stuff that I learned over this weekend. But first, I got to give a big shout out to Phil. Uh, Phil Brodeur, one of our coaching students north of the border up in Canada, sent me his hat, nice on his logo, and I've had it for a couple weeks, and I just forgot to wear it on here. But thank you to Colossus uh, for sending it to me. I really appreciate it, Phil. It's nice. I like blue. It goes with a lot of stuff. So kudos. Thank you for sending me the hat. But anyway, this past weekend I went to Dallas and I attended Laughlin and Associates Magnify Your Wealth Summit. Now you guys know we've had Aaron Young, Brent Biscay, and his team on before to talk about asset protection, creating LLCs, stuff like that. And the event is, like I said, it's Magnify Your Wealth. It's designed to help you grow your wealth and protect your wealth, which is just, it's important that you're creating to protect it, right? And so a lot of it's all about asset protection, the Rockefeller strategy, setting up trust, making sure they, of course, he had some other interesting speakers. He had Elizabeth Tress, who we'll have on to talk about trust and some of the Rockefeller strategy stuff like that. Her partner Kevin Day we had on a couple of years ago, and so it's great to connect with her. I think you'll really enjoy that presentation when she comes on talking about some of the different ways to protect assets because that's always one of the big things. We ran to Ron Fossum, who talks about taxes and paying less in taxes is one of our number one podcasts out there. Connected with him, we'll have him back on the show as well. And then we also ran into a couple other new folks that we hadn't heard. We heard a guy talking about XRP, Jake Claver from that neck of the woods. That was interesting to learn a little about that. We probably won't have him on talk about crypto because that's just not our show. It's just not our niche, but it was an interesting session. One thing I really did take away from, and this is one thing I want to put out there because if it really is an aha nugget for me, I need it for you guys to understand the aha nugget. All right. And they had a speaker, Corey Long. I've never met Corey before. And he talks about a lot with leveraging AI in your business stuff. And I thought this was one of the most valuable sessions of the entire weekend. I was blown away on Friday about this. And if you know, I get blown away from something, it is something that I think you need to take a look at. I got to give a big shout out to Brian and Lisa Dills, who were coaching students that were there just drove over from where they're at in Tarrant County and attended a couple days there too. I think they were all weekend. I had to take off Saturday to go look at a property in Waco. But Corey is with Y Rock, which is CORY spelled back consulting group. They're out of Dallas. They do a lot with marketing for businesses of all types. And it was great. He was talking about how if you're follows like the Russell Brunsons and the Alex Formozis and stuff like that, how they get into the aspect of, funnels, having a funnel and a CRM system and all this big stuff with landing pages and things like that and pay-per-clicks and using Google Analytics and Google Ads and all that stuff. That's all basically changed. All right. Because, and I've noticed this, website traffic is down over 50% in the last 6 months. Website traffic has dropped down. People that have been paying for Facebook ads have had to really increase their budget for get people to click on stuff. Facebook group engagement is down dramatically, like 90%. And what it's come down to is AI is affecting a lot of this stuff. Okay. And I'd be willing to bet you guys probably haven't recognized the change. You probably may have noticed it, but haven't realized how it's changed some things. And what has happened is that, especially with Google, since most of them are jumping on Google and searching on Google, right? is that we're no longer getting, I mean, if you go in and search for something, best restaurant, between Waco and Austin or something like that, or whatever you're searching for, Google, their AI is now answering that question for you with an AI response more so than just giving you the best websites to click to. Anybody recognizing this? Like you're literally getting an answer from the AI ahead of times. And what's happening is less and less people are scrolling down to click through things because using AI to give you the best tips, the best recommendations, and people are literally going off that because it's right there. It's top of the fold, as they say on the website. Okay. Now, that's not really anything new, shocking. But what Corey said is something that each and every one of you on here, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay or listening to this, you need to take in consideration of how you, yes, your business are coming up in the search aspect of it as far as when AI comes around to pulling your data. Now, the and this is what's so great about it. Everybody is basically at square one. You have the ability, if you were to be a coffee house like Mojo Coffee down the street here, local place that we like to go to. I actually have Mojo Coffee beans this morning. I hate Starbucks, but Mojo has the opportunity, if they're leveraging things right, to really dominate Starbucks locally or dominate Starbucks or, Pete's. Okay. Because if they leverage how they're using their, and I'm going to say real estate in a different term than buying a home, stuff like that. The most valuable real estate when it comes to search and AI search, okay, isn't the paid for click ads. Okay. Yes, it's having a good email list. Your CRM is still important. But what it comes out to is they are relying, AI is heavily relying on the written word. They're looking for fresh ideas, fresh content, and then also audio and video stuff. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys got to go out and start videos. That's one thing I think everybody should do, but I don't expect you guys to go do it. Some of you will, some of you won't, but that's okay. What I want to talk about though is some things that you guys can use that are hesitant to getting on video or getting on because you have an accent or you don't have the time, don't know what to say in front of the camera, or scared that your makeup's not going to look good. All right. This is not meant to scare you. Is what happens is that Google and Bing and search are starting to create profiles, search profiles of you. Now, if you haven't done this, like Colin, this is something that you would probably you probably find valuable, is going into actually Google and searching your name and see what pops up on your profile as far as who Colin, Whitnack is, who Fernando Cavill is, who John Burns is, who Boyd Pops is, who Nisham Mosley is. Because that's one of the first things they're looking is to identify that stuff. Now, I found that pretty valuable. Now, what was even more valuable at the event is Corey gave a couple examples of what they did. One being Ron Fossum, okay, who's there. I've had him on the podcast, like I mentioned before. Guy knows his stuff, okay? Well, he did a speaker profile searching for Ron Fossum and shared it with the audience, and guess what popped up on there? I was blown away, but what popped up was my YouTube video and my podcast episode of when we had Ron on 2+ years ago. It was literally front and center there at the top, along with the blog article that we did for the website. Okay. Now, I'm not here going to sit here and tell you that you got to go create blogs and all that stuff there, but you should. Okay. And there's an easy way to do this that you don't have to spend a lot of time. It's not going to cost you a lot of energy. You can use AI to help you out with a few tweaks in posting some things. Now, what we have done and some things that I'm changing, and I'm sharing my changes with you guys so that you see focal point. Our website, weclosenotes.com, it is a behemoth. It has got thousands of pages, not only on articles and blogs and stuff we do, but other landing, pages that we have in it. It's behemoth. And one of the things that we did earlier on was that we would take every episode we did and we created a fully transcribed blog that works well with SEO. Well, you know what? All those blogs have done well for our website. It's our #1 website, our #1 YouTube ranking, all that good stuff. Now, I'm not telling you have to compete with me. That's not what I'm getting at here, okay? Because you don't have to compete with me. What I want you guys to realize is that 99.9% of the real estate investors out there, the note investors, the people attending conferences and stuff like that, aren't going to do this aspect of going and actually embracing this and using a couple tools that I'm going to share with you and activities that you guys can do in 10 to 15 minutes once a week to really help you become AI searchable. Because the greatest, like I said, the greatest real estate now that AI is looking at, which means Bing and Google and Yahoo, whatever, all the search engines and all the AI search engines are looking for is content, word and audio. I mean, video, audio, and writing. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do videos, that's fine. Don't do videos. But you can do you can do audio. You can also do the written word, which is the easiest aspect of things, by just creating blogs on different topics that you share to your website. Pretty easy to do, and or share somewhere else. Now, one of the best places that they talked about sharing, which is free, okay, is going out and creating a LinkedIn profile for yourself, which all of you should have a LinkedIn profile, but then going there and creating a LinkedIn blog, a newsletter. Okay. Now we started a newsletter a couple years ago. We're under 5,000 subscribers. It's pretty good at posting stuff originally. We fall off, but the point being is we try to go on there and at least try to post once a week. Okay. Now, the things that I took away from this that I'm doing well, and all of you can do this too. You're not in competition with me, right? You don't think that. I want you guys to stand out from the crowd. I want you to drive more investors to you. When people go to search your name, like asset managers do, other investors will do, we want it to pop up and show that you know what the hell you're talking about. And all of you do. That's the great thing. All of you guys that are on here that have been through our classes and our coaching, you guys are smart people. You're not stupid. You might be a little lazy because you don't want to do some marketing in some cases, but I get it. 99% of people don't want to do any stuff. And you maybe have not wanted to do, I don't do a lot of pay-per-click. We did a couple things like that. I like, because I'm in a niche, obviously a niche, and sometimes the stuff, the pay-per-click stuff just doesn't work when you're in such a smaller niche. But you guys aren't necessarily the small little niche that I'm in. You have notes and you're doing other things as well, which is great for you. Nothing wrong with it. But we know one thing. A, you're looking for more deals. B, you're looking to raise more capital. And how do you help that? Well, that helps with getting out there and marketing yourself. Besides going out and networking, which is one of the better ways of doing it, or direct mail marketing to IRA investors, but being, as we should say, AI searchable. Okay? AI searchable. So what do we do? All right. What are the steps that we can do to make ourselves more searchable? Well, the first thing, you all can go over to your profile, over to LinkedIn, and click on your profile. I have mine up here, right? So if you just click on my profile here, it takes you over to the top of my profile, and then I can scroll down here, and I can have these featured things down here. I have class, a podcast, but I have the number one featured thing here is my newsletter, okay? News and Notes newsletter. And this doesn't cost me anything except a little bit of time, okay? And I have 94 editions, which is just shame on me with over 1,000 episodes. I should have a lot more editions of this stuff. And when I walk away from an event, I was like, I need to put more information into my newsletter. I've been sloughing off on it. And it's pretty simple to do because I've really created a newsletter with the articles, I mean, the podcast episodes and the transcriptions that I use from the blogs or the videos to create a blog. I should just throw it on here as a newsletter. It's simple enough to do. Besides not only throwing it back on my website for SEO search and AI SEO search, but the LinkedIn also pulls it up. So if you guys don't want to update a big website, you should be posting something on here. Now, I don't want to create more work for you. That's not my goal here at all. Okay. I want to show you a way to do it. So going and creating a LinkedIn newsletter is very, very simple to do. All of you can go to your profile. And like if you're going to go click to your home and you can click on write an article, that'll take you there. And then you go over here and hit manage and hit newsletter. Okay. And create a newsletter. It's as simple as that. You have to have your profile being open. I also think you've got to have the the paid version of this to do. Otherwise, you can just post articles, which are fine, or write a quick, create a newsletter or whatever like that. Not simple to do, but literally all I do with Week Close Notes newsletter, if we click on here, create a new edition, all I do is upload an image, create a title for it, and then I copy paste in what I'm saying, which doesn't have to be too long, okay? So my process, so to give you a bit of an idea. So when I record a podcast episode like I'm recording this morning, right now, we could use this example. What's my process? Well, I'm on Zoom. As soon as I finish with Zoom, log off with Zoom, it's going to give me in about 30 minutes, it's going to give me the audio and the video, right? Well, I'll take the audio And if you have Zoom, you can set up a setting where Zoom will automatically create a fully transcribed transcription for it. There's plenty of transcription services out there. TurboScribe's like $120 a year. Restream will do it, but a lot of places will automatically allow you to transcribe as part of the process, which is really great. So I do a full transcription, and then I go over into Chatbot, which is where I like to go to Chatbot, because Chatbot will pull OpenAI 4.0, 5.0 is pretty good, and then Google Gemini, right? So what I like to do, if I just click over here on some of my conversations, I literally will just say in here, I'll take the transcription, okay? And you'll see here, like I did a video yesterday because of all the news with the Trump 50-year mortgage. I said, let me take advantage of all the SEO searches going on, people searching for that, and why not? So I took the transcription, which is a 37-minute video, PDF, I uploaded to it, said, hey, please take the attached transcript of the most recent podcast episode of the Note Show and create a podcast description under 4,000 characters that I can use as a blog, including an attractive introduction and conclusion, along with 5 detailed bullet points for the content. Make sure to make it SEO rich and written for real estate investors with my humor. Also come up with 3 SEO rich titles. Make sure to use my sense of humor. So there it came. It came up with 3 SEO rich titles: the 50-year mortgage, housing affordability, Trump's 50-year mortgage, unlock equity, which is not bad. Okay. And then, of course, it took my the transcription, and created this, 3,500, this was 4,000 character blog, which is great. It was a little too long. It started cutting things off. So I went back and changed it. Hey, can you make this to 3,000 characters? So then it cut stuff up on my Apple iTunes stuff. Okay. So I did the same thing, 3,000 characters. It's a well-written blog and stuff like that, which was great. And then I went back over here to LinkedIn, and I just basically copied and pasted. Let me go back to my episodes here. Oh, where's that? Maybe, hang on, let me go back to my home. Doesn't always show the most recent one here for some weird reason. Okay, let me go down here. Show all posts. Now, the great thing about LinkedIn, a LinkedIn newsletter, is A, it's free. Okay. And here we go. Here's my. Now, the great thing about the newsletter is free, but when people are following you on LinkedIn, it automatically, if they subscribe to your newsletter, it goes, not only will it go into their feed when you post something, but it will not only go in their feed, it will actually go to their email address account associated with their LinkedIn profile. So I've got 4,845 subscribers. Not all of them I'm connected to on LinkedIn. I was looking at that. About 30%, give or take, I'm actually not following connected. They just subscribe to my newsletter, which is great because A, not only seen on my feed, on their feed, that it's going into, like I said, it's going into their actual email database. If we looked at this stuff, and let's look at the analytics. So let me look at the analytics view post. I could boost if I wanted to. Here we go. Analytics. And like I said, this went out about 6 o'clock. Not the ideal time to go out on a newsletter, but I wanted to get it out to take advantage of today. So 158 impressions, 109 members reached. It's had 1,300 article views and 2,876 email sends, a 33% email open rate. That then itself, right there, ladies and gentlemen, is phenomenal. Anything get over a 10 to 15% open rate, it's pretty good. All right. And I've had 2 people actually connect this morning on my calendar link to book a phone call with me to talk about real estate investing. Okay. But the most important thing is what AI is going to do. AI is going to go to, if I throw this on my website, they're going to go to my website and pull that information, and they're going to LinkedIn and pull that information so it now shows up as an AI search, as an AI source, basically. Okay. Now, I know you guys like, man, you did a presentation. You ain't got to do a presentation. Okay. Yes, I put 20 slides together on a Sunday afternoon. I recorded it. It took me longer to do the slides and come up with the calculations on the difference between a 15, a 30, a 40, and a 50. This one was a little more complicated because of that stuff. Most of the time, all you're going to need to do is, if we go over to chatbot app, like what I like to do, and this is what you all can do. This is the power of using this ChatGPT 5.0. to go in here. And if you guys can see what I did is something that all of you should be doing. Can you, and this is what my prompt is, word for word, can you create a list of note investing topics that real estate investors will find informative that I can use in a 52-week newsletter? Okay. Please have the topics rich in SEO and line up with what investors may be searching for based on the month of the year. So we want this to be year in, 12-month relevant. Please have the topics in order from week 1 through 52. So that's what I did. Now, AI is lazy. ChatGPT is lazy. So I typed this in here, and here's a 52 month-by-month newsletter plan focused on note investing aligned to typical investor search intent and seasonality. Each topic is phrased for SEO. So it gives me January weeks 1 through 4, planning, strategy, market outlook. Okay, 4. And then went through to March the 10th week and stopped. Well, I had to prompt it again. Please continue the rest of March to the end of December. So I had to do that a couple of times to get through all 52 weeks, okay, of having topics, okay? Then as I got through actually got to 38, I started looking at some of these things. I think these are a little too primary for note investors. Let me change this up. And I said, please come up with 52 different topics for a real estate investing newsletter that targets new and existing real estate investors who are looking for deals and have money to invest, but have the content tailored to being focused on investing in performing and non-performing notes. So I got a little bit better with my prompts. And then it came up with more tailored content that I would think would do well for new and existing real estate investors looking for opportunities. And you guys can copy this whole same thing and tweak it. Now, the great thing, now it gave me 52 weeks. Once again, I had to prompt it to keep doing stuff, but it came up with tax season stuff, summer stuff, beginning of the year, the holidays, all that good stuff, okay? And then I also went back and said, okay, let's do something a little bit more generic. Please come up with topics for a 52-week newsletter based on the most searched questions about real estate investing. Okay. And there you go. So then it came up with 52. I had to prompt it again to get all the way through 52. But there you have topics now of the most frequently asked questions that are a little bit more generic. Now, let's talk about this. Now, people always ask me, like, well, Scott, what's the best link for a blog? All right. What's a newsletter blog look like? And I went and Googled that, and you can see what I'm talking about here. AI, because it has all here. What is the ideal length of a real estate blog post? The ideal length for a real estate blog post is often between 1,000 and 2,500 words. Okay. That's about 2,000 to, 4,000 characters. Okay. And you can see as long, it's between 1,000 and 2,500 words. As longer posts tend to perform better for search engine optimization, providing in-depth content that can rank higher and drive traffic. However, the exact length depends on the topic and your audience. So focus on quality, relevance, and reader engagement over a specific word count. For certain types of content, such as short tutorials or neighborhood guides, a shorter length might be more appropriate. Okay. So search intent, content type. Okay. How-to guides and ultimate guides aim for 25 to 4,000 words. Listicles like your top 5 deals or top 10 reasons for doing something. The same thing. Pillar posts, longer stuff like that, maybe case study stuff like that should be 3,000, 4,000 words. Okay. So audience engagement, a 300-word post that is helpful and well written is better than a 2,000-word post. So what you could do is you could do your longer form content, throw it on your website, or throw it on your LinkedIn news article, and then do a shorter post and use that as a teaser on your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your email database, your drip marketing to your content to get people to click over to go read the longer one. You're reading, 1,000, 2,000. Hey, click on the link to check out the longer stuff. Okay. But that's the thing, look at what other people are doing. You can go to LinkedIn, see what people are doing, posting there, stay current, keep the tone casual, use local keywords if you're buying locally, and add visuals, and you could literally go over here. Same thing if we go to chatbot, if we go back here, I just typed in, go back to chatbot here. And I clicked on, what did I say? Oh, create an image. Let me see here. Let's see if it was, I guess description. There we go. So I just went in there to image creation. I said, can you create an image of President Donald Trump holding a 50-year mortgage in the Oval Office of the White House? And that's exactly the image that it gave me. Simple, clean, pretty easy to use. And I used that as my thumbnail for, the thumbnail for the image, the podcast episode, stuff like that. And I use the same blog that I created across the board: LinkedIn, email, podcast. I should have probably switched it up a little bit, but it was Sunday afternoon. I was ready to be done with it. Get what I'm saying? And that's the thing, is that now is being searched. It's now getting people to open it. AI is going to use that. Are you going to be AI searchable right off the bat? No, you're not right off the bat going to be that. All right. But we could do something here really fast. Let's go here and do search. Let's type in AI mode. Let's type in, whoops. Let's make sure I get your last name. So yeah, there we go. Let's see what pops up. Who is Colin? I used him because he's a realtor up. There we go. Now what's great, look at the stuff over here on the right side. That's good. You got your LinkedIn plus 5 sites that it's pulling from, and your homes.com. And we get it show all. And there you go. That's not so bad, right? That's pretty good. And that's a great little speaking page, I guess you could say, AI search page. And you all could do the same thing. All right. Now that's kind of what you're looking for. And the more stuff you put out there, and Colin, this is something you very easily give back to your, your AI or your virtual assistant. Okay. Let's see here. I'll go back to my, okay. So let's do this 52. Let's type in. So we've got 52 topics that you guys could do. So let's do, can you come up with a 1,000 word SEO rich blog for number 52? And there you go. Can you add a catchy conclusion paragraph that points people to making an appointment with me? Let's start investing in the new year. Because you want to kind of leave it, you don't want to leave it hanging like that. You should add a little paragraph to the back end of it. Okay. There you go. That's pretty good. If you're ready to turn smart strategy into real results, if you're planning to start or scale your real estate investing in the new year, let's map your exit options, financing, and deal flow to today's market. Book a quick call with me. We'll build a customized game plan to target the right assets, protect downside, and maximize returns from day one. Your best deal of the year starts with the right plan. Schedule an appointment now. That's a great thing. And the reason I'm picking on Colin, Colin's been a realtor for years. He's looking to raise capital. He's got a database already, but he's been hesitant to kind of do that outreach. You're putting your pitch together. You got a great website, stuff like that. I really picked on you because this is something that kind of start that process. You ain't gonna wait 52 weeks. Okay. That's not what you want to do, but it's that weekly touch base with your LinkedIn, Facebook. You can copy paste this over to Facebook too, and your email, your CRM to your database. 80% of sales comes after the 5th contact, the 5th touch. A little article on the different types of ways to invest in real estate in 2026 would be a great hit for your audience looking to get started as a real estate investor, looking to raise, looking to put your lazy asses to work. There's a lot of things that you can do with this list to customize and tailor. And like I always say, your most valuable resource that you guys have is your email database, your CRM. Yes, Facebook, LinkedIn is great. If you guys don't have a list or CRM, then you do have to rely on Facebook. You do have to rely on LinkedIn to help you prime that proverbial pump. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. Part of it is, and that's why I like so much about the LinkedIn newsletters, is LinkedIn will still give a good chunk of your connections will see your stuff, but the LinkedIn newsletter goes directly into to their email. All right. No opt out. Once they subscribe, they're going to get an email sent to them and go from there. And I think that's literally low hanging fruit for you. And like I said, the most valuable stuff that you guys can do is having that email campaign. Maybe it doesn't have to be a little article like this, but pick out one or twice a month to do something like that. But you should be doing something weekly. One should be some sort of news, something valuable to them. One could be if you're going to local REIA clubs, invite your local market out to your local REIA club. If you're going to an event, like if you went to Magnify Your Wealth this weekend, or if you went to Node Expo, or you went to the Western Secondary Marketing Conference, or you went to your local foreclosure auction on the first Tuesday here in Texas, or wherever it is. Those are all great little things. It could be one email that goes out to your database. Hey guys, we went to the local foreclosure thing, and here's one or two, three things we learned. Simple. And then ask a past case study or deal. Pretty simple for you guys to create if you've done the deals or you're working on a deal. But this is how you're going to stand out. Now, you don't have to spend a ton of money, if any money at all, with these free, pretty much free resources. LinkedIn premium membership, I think, helps. If you want to use chat bot GPT, or like what I use, there's a little bit of cost to get the better 5.0 version of it. Still worth it. You still use the free version for the most part. But these tools don't take long to create. 15, 20 minutes to create it, copy, paste it, and put a little change on it, create an infographic in Gemini image creator, and you guys are off and running and creating it, putting your own little spin on it. That's the most important thing. Is yes, are you regurgitating a lot of AI content already? Yes, you are. But you put that little spin on it, that little change in what you would say something that only takes a minute or two to adjust it. It's the whole idea of getting eyeballs on your stuff and getting people to start recognizing you start being that search, being part of the search solution to people through AI sources. Okay. I've got a buddy of mine, Mike Hambright, who's an investor up out of Dallas. He's trying to interview as many real estate investors as possible, which is great for him, I think. Runs investor fuel, stuff like that. But I think he needs to be focused at least half his content on his knowledge base. He's bringing other people on, and that's great at giving content, but it's giving away his knowledge base and what he's focused on. This is why we always try to stay strictly to the note niche for the most part. Yes, we'll bring on some folks, like our next episode is going to be my buddy Mike Swinson, who's a short-term rental guy out of not Minneapolis, St. Paul area in Minnesota, doing some stuff. He's got some great tools and strategies for you. But for the most part, that's why we stick straight to the note niche. What's going to affect you? What's going to help you? What's going to help you attract more more in funding? And that's what it is. They're going to search for you if you're talking to investors. Who is Colin Winnick? Who is Fernanda? Who is John Burns? And that will help out there. It's not meant to intimidate. If you're feeling like your little hiding hole's tightened up on, I don't want to do this, realize, I guarantee most of you are going to be investors longer, have been investors longer than a year for the most part. If you're new to it, guess what? This is a great way for you to build that foundation. Easy, cheap, inexpensive, but it has exponential impact using AI resources because everybody's going there. As I said before, AI search isn't showing the website's rankings. It's not showing. If we go back here to the same thing I was showing you a second ago, search. It's this content here they're looking for stuff. It takes a while to get down to these articles down here. Now, will it help you to have different things? Yeah, sure will. Okay. These are the things that you want to use, and this is why you can compete with these the bigger pockets, the Zillows, the stuff like that out there. You'd be silly not to do. You use this to help you grow your engagement, grow your followership, grow your money partners, and actually act as a resource for people when they're searching or you're talking to that, hey, just go Google me on Google. Who is Scott Carson? Who is John Burns? Who's Boyd Pops? Who's Stephanie Goodman? To help you really start kicking ass where others are really sloughing off. And not many people are doing this. And this is why I honestly thought this was one of the most valuable sessions that I learned this past weekend in Dallas. It was so, I'm not going to lie. I had a broner. I was pretty excited about it. Going up and talking to Corey, we dominate our niche. We have the #1 podcast and we're YouTube, but all that leads to us really being one of the best biggest searched aspect of things because we really are generating more content than other folks out there. And you ain't got to do it daily. Like I said, 15, 20 minutes a week. You put it on your calendar. You do it Monday morning. You share it Tuesday. Boom. That's the best way to do it. Research it Monday, post it on Tuesday, email it out Tuesday to your audience or post on your socials. It'll drive better. Monday's a little slow, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are the best. And obviously Friday people research stuff, but let's put it at Tuesday. And so I just want you guys, I was really excited about this. I know it's not your traditional, like following up with the note deals or breaking down case studies. We'll do more of that next week in a couple of deals that we're looking at. But I just wanted to tell you, here's one of the greatest things that you guys can do. And I was blown away. And I was cracking up because there's a lot of business owners in the crowd. They're like, not real estate investors necessarily to say, but they were like, some of them were like, oh, how, there was a dental office, there was a cardiac surgeon there was other people that do other things. You get a lot of retired folks there too. But it just adds that you guys, these cutting edge tools, you don't have to be afraid of AI. Use AI, embrace AI to really help take your business, your fundraising, your deal sources to the next level so that when asset managers are searching for you, when you're using like Octopus CRM to connect, they're searching with you, they're going to go to your profile, they'll see these articles, they'll see what's going on here, Rory, and that's how you add credibility and create credibility, not only to your profile, but to your connections by doing this. And this is how you get the word out. When I started years ago, I'm seriously back in 2010, when I started creating content, shooting on this little flip cam and then posting to Facebook and posting it to LinkedIn, posting other things about what I was doing and creating a blog. You can use a free blog. You can use Medium too as another version of a blog service for you. I was using Help Pages at the time. That helped me. It attracted more people than I knew what to do with when I started off with. And that's the problem that I want you all to have. It's a good problem. I just shared my expertise, shared my journey, and I planned on it. Like I said, I started a blog 100K in 100 days. And by day 52, I couldn't keep up with the blog because I was so busy. And that's a beautiful thing. I want you guys to be busy with more note deals, more case studies and stuff like that, getting the word out what you're doing so that people are coming to you versus you having to go out and find them as well. I mean, you're still always going to do that going out to asset managers, but there's a lot of times you can monetize your message and your expertise to really drive home a lot of great stuff for you. All right. So any questions, any comments, any concerns anybody want to raise before we let you go for the day here? Once again, thanks for jumping on here, Zoom guys, and hopefully this is valuable for you. Not meant to intimidate, not meant to scare. I just really love the fact that you guys can take advantage of what's going on because it's things have changed, right? I remember when I thought I made it as a marketer, I was very fortunate. I had a guy, Roland Frazier, one of the smartest people really when it comes to marketing I worked with for a couple of years and learned from him and learned some of my amazing marketing skills from him that I've had to hone because marketing has changed over time, right? Changed a lot in 15 to 20 years. So when I see something new that I know will have impact, if you do it and stick with it and keep rocking and rolling with it, this isn't going to take you going back to school for 10 years or 4 years. Literally, 15, 30 minutes once a week, guys. This will have impact. Heck, you could sit down on a weekend and write out your whole month in an hour or two, or create it and then schedule it to go live on LinkedIn, to schedule it to go live at specific times, scheduling the email blast to go live if you're using a CRM. But making sure if you've got a website, a landing page, I would go on there, and if you can add a page to your blog or create a blog on that website, or you're putting just some quick blurbs on there, so it drives people to your LinkedIn profile or shows people and let you know what the hell you're talking about, then do so. All right, do so, because otherwise you're going to see, if you're not doing anything, you're going to see any type of activity you've had to a website come down to a trickle and get basically pulled in other directions because AI is pulling all this information. If you're not giving information up, it's going to be next to impossible for you to get anybody to come back to you. All right. But you all can start it today, embrace it. It's showing that you know what the hell you're talking about. You're an expert, and all of you really are experts. Even if you're working still full-time in another career, you're experts in moving from full-time work to part-time or becoming a full-time investor. And everybody loves that story. And people want to be with doers. And you're going to get better at it. You're going to create, and AI is going to understand what you're saying more and be able to including your a little bit of comedy, your words and stuff like that to make it more about you. And that's what we really need, is we need more folks like you guys creating great stuff out there, because there's a lot of people looking for stuff, but they don't know where to turn, and they can trust you. All right. There's no questions, no comments, concerns. As always, thank you guys for being on here. If you have any questions, feel free to talk with scottcarson.com. Very surprised, especially over the weekend. I did end up getting a couple more bids on those Texas assets, but they were higher than I expected to be, because my play on a lot of them is going to be the bid on them. The reason we came in there, the idea is, we were at higher than expected, but the goal is like, okay, if we can foreclose quickly, can we still make a little bit of profit in here in Texas in under 90 days? If we can do that and they don't sell, we stand to make a lot of money on the back end taking the REOs back. But on the short term, 60 to 90 days, if it does sell at the foreclosure auction and we get paid off in full, it's going to be a decent return for my money partners for the short term. I'll make a little bit of money, but the big stuff is in that back end if it doesn't sell. So we're going to work to, in due diligence right now, reviewing payoffs, servicing, and stuff like that, and looking at where they're at the legal side and how long it takes us. It's going to take us to foreclose, because the right now on the Texas ones, I would have to file the foreclosures 21 days prior to the first Tuesday of December. And I'm probably not going to make that mark here in November, because it's due diligence through the rest of the month. But that means a January, first part of January or first part of February foreclosure, and then going from there. And then rehab and selling, if it doesn't sell at the auction, that means trying to be listed by March, April, if not sooner, and trying to get it sold. So luckily, most of these assets are pretty clean. Nothing too heavy on the clean out crew, for what I can tell from looking at interior BPOs, interior inspections, stuff like that they provided. So we'll keep you in line with more stuff that's coming out. Look for some of those case studies as a great learning aspect of things, and we'll be documenting a lot of stuff along the way for you guys as well. So any other questions, comments, concerns? And if not, have a great rest of your week. And like I said, don't be a stranger. I know someone will see you throughout the week with your coaching calls, but otherwise, go out there, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you at the top.